Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you here today on the Cabral Concept. Of course, this is our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Today, I want to share really how to go for it this year, to make this year your biggest and best year yet, but to base it on what I'm calling the 5 truths I've been able to discern from my highest level performing clients that I've met with over the last 25 years. Celebrities, big name influencers you would know, athletes, heads of huge companies, and everyday people that have to just make it all happen. They've got families, they've got busy lives. I want to share with you a few things that I've been able to see and that I've tried to implement in my own life. The first one may be one of the biggest, and is to stop listening to the small little voices in our own head, but also the naysayers. So here's the thing. We take advice from a lot of people that we don't necessarily want to emulate. Now, they can be amazing people. They can be great people. We can love these people. But if we're not looking to emulate their life, why are we taking their advice? Why, if they're asking us to play smaller than we're looking to, do we want to follow them as a role model? I don't know. I question this over and over, and I begin to really analyze it in my own mind. There are people that I say, I really admire this person. They're a great individual. I really like them. But I'm not looking to live that life or have the things that they have. Now, again, they can have everything that they want, but if it does not line up with what I'm looking for or what I try to share with the client, it's time to just move on from that advice. If they want to give it to you and you don't ask, well, and if they're a friend of yours, family, you're going to listen politely. But online, people are taking advice from people that they don't want to emulate. It's okay to unfollow that individual and simply move on and say, you know, I liked what you were putting out for content. I appreciate it, but the noise, the distraction is not something that I need in my life right now. And also, if you get comments based on your journey, where you're at right now, what you're trying to achieve, delete them. None of that pertains to who you are and who you want to become. I can't stress that enough. Don't let those small voices, the crabs in the bucket, begin to pull you back down. You don't need it. Number 2 is this: emulate the work, not the persona of the person that you were looking to be like. Okay, let me break this down a little bit, because we now know who we don't want to emulate, right? We don't want that person's life. The naysayer, they're giving us advice. We say, sure, but like, the life you're living is not one I'm looking to live. Now, there are other people online. I wouldn't say you're looking to live anybody else's life, but you might be looking to create what another person has also created in their life. You're just going to do it your way. Great. Here's the issue, though. When you see someone's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. channel, you get to see 1 minute, 10 minutes of what, like a day in their life, maybe 10 minutes of their life. That's really what you're looking for. I want to share with you this, is that you don't want to act like they're acting for the show. What you want to focus on is the work that it took to get where they are now. So if they've been doing this for 20 years, 30 years, even 5 years, what did it take and how many hours did it take to get there before you saw the finished product? Because that is really what you want to focus on. You can't focus on getting to where they are now. That's not going to appear. But what you can control and what you can do is the work and the steps that they took in order to now get where they are now. So what I always look at is, all right, what happened behind the scenes? Now, I've been fortunate enough to, again, work with some really big celebrities, influencers, et cetera, et cetera. And here's what I've seen. They're working 8, 10, 12 hours, Monday through Friday, and many work the weekends in order to get where they are now. Now, that seems like a lot of hours. You may not be able to do that. I totally get it. But just understand that there has to be, if you want an extraordinary life or to achieve an extraordinary goal, extraordinary work usually comes along with that. Now, a lot of people say, well, you need to work smarter, not harder. Sure. But in the beginning, it's working harder until you're able to learn how to work smarter. And you're able to then bring other people in that can help boost you up as well. So that's a big part of that. And so that shouldn't discourage you at all. Because if you have a big enough why and your goals mean enough to you, then you'll say, all right, understood, I need to get to work. I need to take the actions that those who have what I have did in order to get where they are today. Number 3 is this: keep tunnel vision on one main goal. So it's funny because I don't know a lot about the stock market. I don't know a lot about, all these big tech companies, but I know a little bit, just a little bit. And so I saw an announcement by this big AI company because I follow AI. And so they announced that they're coming out with a divergent product, basically just a different product from their typical product line. And the stock declined. And I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Let me see why. I don't own any of their stock or anything like that. And here's why. And it made total sense. They are getting away from what they are known for, what they know how to do, and why people love them. So now what's happening? They are distracted from the one thing that made them great. They're trying to diversify now too much. And when you diversify that much, you can't stay focused on keeping the main thing the main thing. The same goes for us. There's only so many hours in the day. Going back to number 2, if we want to emulate something, if we want to put in the work, it's so hard to put in the work for 5 or 6 different things to be great at all those things at once. What do you need to be great at right now? What can you dedicate your mind, your thoughts, and your actions to in order to be able to make those dreams become a reality? How do we move the visualization from the mind into 3D reality? We do that through, I'll talk about that in a moment, but we do that through focusing on intention, knowing what we want, continuing to go back to our why, and then day in and day out, putting in the work, which we call action. Over time, those actions actually create the 3D reality of what we want. Number 4 is this. And I love this one. And I actually didn't realize this until maybe the last few years or so, maybe the last 10. The years go by quick. But it's people are just people. Like, that's the thing. Whoever you look up to right now, I'm telling you right now, I just did a show about this not too long ago. But there's so few people that are so naturally talented and gifted. Now, we know them because they're so gifted, right? But the majority of the world, there's so many successful people. But the majority of the world, they're not wildly talented or gifted from birth. They're just not. So here's the thing. They just said, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I want to achieve. And I'm unwilling to give up until I achieve it. So that means that their doggedness, their perseverance, their inability or unwillingness to back down allowed them to just push through all of the different obstacles and challenges long enough to accumulate what I talked about on a previous podcast, their 10,000 iterations or their 10,000 hours. Once they did that, things started to come much easier, right? Why? Because you learn all of the things that don't work. So once you've learned all the things that don't work, you say, oh, this is what works. Then you can either choose to do it or not do it. But if you do it, you know what you need to do. You can get even better at it, and success starts to snowball. It just comes that much faster. So now you get to see them 5, 10, 20 years into the process, right? And you're saying, wow, it looks like it comes so easy to them. Sure, it does now, but it didn't when they started 25 years ago. So important key point. Now, the nice thing is, so many people teach what they know, and it's so accessible now. You can do it in a fraction of the time. It takes, and I talked about this again previous on a show, so that's why you can just go back to stephencabral.com/podcast, even if you just want to listen to the Monday shows. It's all there. But people create blueprints. Those blueprints can be copied, and you can really emulate almost anything in a period of about 18 to 36 months. Now, it's still 1.5 to 3 years. And that's just that's for creating whatever big thing it is you want in your life. Now, some things are smaller things, like, oh, I want to take back my health. Okay. 6 to 12 months maximum. Like that's legitimate. That's the longest it's going to take. That's the truth. Because there are already blueprints created as to how to do this. I want to lose 100 pounds. Okay. 12 to 18 months maximum. Okay. So good. Now you've got that. So you get to take care of your health. You can take care of getting to a healthy weight. What about career? 18 to 36 months. Take your certifications, do an internship, do whatever you need to do, make the right connections, start to move forward. Like, it's all of these things that they don't take forever, but they take enough time in order for you to get good at whatever it is that you need to know in order to succeed. All right, the fifth one is this. Everybody, and this is top of mind right now because we're about to start what we call IHP mastery, teaching that next generation of health coaches / life coaching skills. Everybody thinks that they're a fraud. Everybody thinks they're an imposter when they first start something. And it's because you've never done it before. So you go to create a new relationship. You go to be a parent for the first time. You go to, buying a house for the first time, start a career, become a health coach, any of those things. You're going to feel like an imposter because you've just never done it. But you're not. And here's why. Because you took the time to get the knowledge, to work on yourself, to know what you need to do in order to help whoever it is you're looking to help succeed. And that's what you need to focus on. Take the focus off of you and put it back on the person you were trying to be of service to. So for all of these things, most of our goals are not very self-centered. They are focused on the service of others. So you say, well, I want to boost my own career. Sure, no problem at all. And I think that's great. But your career most likely hinges on someone else's success. So focus on helping that other person become far more successful. Or you might say, well, I've got an individual weight loss goal and I've got a health goal. Okay, good, great goals. What would it mean to your family, to your children, to your parents if you were to lose the 50 to 100 pounds and get yourself healthier, right? What would that mean? Focus on them, put it back on them. You've never done it before. Okay, hire if you can, an IHP or a personal trainer or a nutritionist or an accountability coach to help you to lose the weight or get healthy. Put it back on them. If you're feeling the imposter syndrome, make it a partnership. Get someone who can hold you accountable. But the truth is this, you'll always feel that way until you've actually always done it. It's just the way that it works. And so the only way to not feel like a fraud or feel like an imposter is to get some experience. But the only way to get that experience is to push through that initial fear. Because after all, you've already put in the time. You put in the time, listen to podcasts like this, to studying, to learning, to growing in your own personal growth. Now it's simply time to do. We need to take action. And how many actions do we need to take? As many as we need to, in the order that they are laid out in order to hit our goal. So every goal has a specific set of actions. And if you do those actions in the right time and in the right order, you get to the goal that much faster. So my big thing is always take the course, take the certification, hire the coach, read the book, listen to the free podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever it is, write down the plan and then execute it daily. Not for 5 hours a day. You probably don't need to do that. But for 30 minutes a day, dedicate this to being your best year yet. And here, go back to number 4. Very few people are just innately talented. They look that way after they got the experience, but they started with one thing, just dogged perseverance, not giving up. If you can just stick with that one discipline of just not giving up no matter what, you'll get there. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in to another Cabral Concept. Thank you. I appreciate you being a part of this community. And as always, do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.